Hi, we're live, guys. I just put that on to start it off because we've got latecomers and no shows as well. So Dalton can't turn up because he got something on, and Georgie's running late. Like so, at the moment, it's just me and Stormcelt. Are you there, dude?
Yeah, you're right, mate.
Yeah, how's it going?
Yeah, all good.
You could
All
hear that,
good.
okay, then, could you?
What's that now, mate?
Hear that, okay? Could you hear that music?
Yeah, it was good, to be fair.
All right,
Never heard it before.
Georgie's here now. Hang on.
Yeah, hang
Hello.
on. It's not coming through. It's not coming through my headphones for some reason. Hang on.
Can you
Just carry
can
on a
hear
minute.
us, can you? Sorry about this. It's carnage already. I knew it was going to go well. Like,
How do I change the right? Yeah, there we go. Audio.
so it now son or what?
Straight there. You guys there?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear us? God's sake, man. Tell us some stories then, Stormcelt.
What do you want to know, mate?
Well, I don't know. Do you want to say what happened in Crew, like, or what?
Yeah, when you hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you, Dad.
Hear you.
You guys, why the fuck can't I hear you guys? Oh, hang on. There we go. Is that better?
Yeah.
Right, finally. Thank you.
You sorted now?
Could be.
Who wants to talk about Crew then, first of all?
Well, I don't really know a lot. I turned up and the police sent us pretty much. So George is probably the best person to talk to about it all.
Tell us the story then, George.
I mean, to be fair, I missed like the first bits of what was entertaining was the only thing. I'll have to quickly charge my bloody webcam as well in a minute. I'll tell the story first, so I've got about 50 minutes. I had to go move the car when the whole thing with the Aryan front guy and White Vanguard turned up. So I actually wasn't there. It was my cameraman that captured it all. I came back after that. The speeches before that, they were fairly decent from what I understand. The locals who were giving the speeches were given a lot of information about what was actually going on, the individuals involved. I can't remember the name of the guy who was heading up this cult, but they did name him. I think he's an Egyptian American, I think. Gave a lot of good information about it. There was council staff actually off to one side whom the locals would turn to and boo, and they were sort of looking on, kind of like almost in like kind of shame, if you will. They were looking on because all of this was happening right outside their buildings. But then when the march went on, they'd already unmasked the one guy by this point, the Aryan Front guy, and they were saying it was White Vanguard. Obviously, it wasn't White Vanguard. It was an Aryan Front member who was unmasked, and they were parading this bally around. I think, Joe, you've got the one clip, maybe the one link that I sent you for the one clip. I don't know if you want to play it where they're in the actual square sort of celebrating with the balaclava.
I don't know how to play it, like, you know. Can you do it or what?
I could try.
But anyway, explain to people, right, what happened, right? He turned up, this guy, with a balaclava on, right? Mm-hmm. And then they all decided to attack him and call him a Nazi and that. Is that right?
Yes. Well, from what I understand, yeah, because I wasn't there.
Yeah, because what are they, a load of civ nats and that?
Essentially, yeah, from the comments which you would have heard the one guy give, they were very proud. The vast majority of them were that they had, ran the far right out, that they had, gotten White Vanguard out of there, for example. They were very, very happy about that. The one guy in his address to me as we're getting close to the venue itself in that clip, which I'll try and load up if I can, it was literally talking to me and saying, we're not far right, we're not far left, we're just right, this is Crew. I believe that's essentially his verbatim quote. And he was saying, White Vanguard, we just fob them off, essentially, were words to that effect.
What is wrong with these people then?
The hilarious thing is, Joe, yeah, they never did anything. A bunch of auditors ran at us, and then the police told us to go because they thought the Civ Nats were going to kick off. And to be fair, most of them had probably all had a drink at that point anyway.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. See, do you think they're taking their instructions from Golding or what? Because he's been doing this lately, haven't he? Like calling people Nazis and telling them to fuck off and that, like,
well,
you know.
There's no difference between them and the Reds, to be honest, mate.
No, well, it's not. They're worse, right? Yeah. If anything, they're worse because they're supposed to be nationalists. They haven't got a clue what they're doing. Most of them are pissed up and they're all smoking weed and that, like, right? And, you know, they're like chasing people off and calling them Nazis. And like anyone who calls you a Nazi, then, well, they might as well just go and join Hope Not Hate, like. You know, they're just absolutely retarded, man. And what they done to that guy was heavy, like, you know? And like they weren't so mouthy when all the other lads turned up. But when it was just one guy on his own, they were all over filling him in, weren't they? Like, you know?
So the one who was giving a lad saying like he ran us out, he was hiding behind the police. So I can't really see how he did anything.
No.
Well, I seen a live stream of him like the other day, and he's clearly off his head.
Yeah,
like he's clearly on sniff or something like that.
Yeah,
if I'm able to,
yeah, go on.
I was only going to say, if I'm able to share my screen, I've got the footage of the crowd that were hounding him out. One thing I really appreciate about the guy that got this video for me, you saw that all the auditors were really close in, seemingly trying to get like his face or really get close up into the action of what was going on. From that perspective, I thought it was quite difficult to appreciate the real size of the crowd that was chasing just this one guy. And that's what actually, by the guy who was doing the filming for me, actually hanging back, you can actually see how many people were hounding on this one guy. I've got the clip ready, loaded in my browser. If there's a way that I can share the screen, I'll see if I can bring it up on screen now.
You should be able to, because I used to have a guy that used to do the videos on you, and he underneath here is all controls. It says share screen. If you can, I don't know whether you'll be able to do it though, like, you know. But anyway, listen, these auditors, I've been saying this to Mark and that for ages, right? All they are is a load of grifters, right? There's not a single nationalist among them, right? You see how many, when he was walking along with all those twats trying to pull his balaclava off and that, right? There's just all these assholes with cameras and that, right? All they are is grasses. You know, they don't give a fuck if they get people jailed, right? Like that little Bob done, or whatever his name is, young Bob, got a load of people locked up in Southampton and that, you know? And then you got like, what's his name? Golding, asking for a clear photo with the guy. What's he going to do with the photo then? Dox him, is it? Get him sacked and get him locked up? Is that what he wants to do? Like,
and this is the best part of it, Joe, to be fair. So you've still got people who like have a go at, you know, us, like the Vanguard and that. So, oh, why are you wearing masks? Or it's for that exact reason.
Most of the people who don't want you wearing a mask haven't even got a fucking job to lose, right?
No.
You know, and this is the thing, like, and you've got like Tommy and Golding saying no one's to wear a mask, just at the same time the police are announcing that they've got the new facial software recognition software. So at this demo, there's going to be facial recognition software. Nobody is to wear a mask. You know what I mean? Get your face on the database. That's what it's all about, you know? It's as dodgy as fuck. And if that's not good enough, you've got an army of twat auditors there as well, filming everything that moves, like, you know? And like some of them auditors, I've said like loads of times, they come amongst the crowd. They go, oh, why are you here? Oh, nice one. Oh, yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. They go away. They publish it as a Nazi rally or, you know, far right. They're wankers. They're absolute wankers. And like I've said to people, any demo that we do, when it's our own demo, right? And I would keep away from these retarded local demos now, like, you know what I mean? Because you've got people like what used to do it to me, Voice of Wales, going, don't talk to Joe Marsh, he's a Nazi, he's a racist and all that, right? And then you got Golding saying, oh, Nazis. Like when they Golding chucked the British movement off his demo a few months ago, I think. And he said they had Nazi flags where they weren't Nazi flags at all. And it's just like, do they think they're going to get a pat on the back from the lefties or something for doing this shit? You know? And it's just retarded, like, you know?
That is one of the things I was going to suggest is it because they are very much so rooted in their ideology, like the Civnat ideology, whatever it is, of more trying to look, beyond race or beyond ethnicity or not take that into account? Are they really ardent believers of that? Or is it that something they're doing out of, fear or trying to gain back some favor with their enemies, so to speak? Find it quite difficult to gauge the motivation.
I reckon a lot of them have skin in the game, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah?
And I reckon a lot of them have got skin in the game. That's why they're so focused on targeting FNATs, for example.
They're too scared to come out and be blood and soil nationalists, right? Even if they've got black friends or even if they've got like mixed race people in their families, they could still say, I'm proud to be white. And it's not happening that our race is going to be decimated, right?
Mm-hmm.
They could say that, right? It doesn't mean they hate anyone of a different race, right? But they haven't got the guts. So what they do is they go, oh, anyone can be British. This is my mate Leroy, just as British as me and you, and they do all that retarded shit because they're terrified. They don't want to, they literally haven't got the guts to be out about it. You know what I mean? That's what it is. And I do think some of them they do think that if they kiss black people's asses enough times on a demo, that eventually the lefties will say, well, fair play to them. They're not racist and they've proved it. Because you see some of these demos and you'll have a black guy there and the Civnats are rushing over to shake their hands and tap them on the back and say, nice one, mate, and all that, and going really, really fucking out of their way.
Yeah. Well, in that case, though, they essentially become a token black, don't they?
Well, yeah, that's what they are. Like, but the thing is, right, is what I'm saying is the Civnats will go out of their fucking way, like, really.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
They're running over the road to go, yes, nice one, bro. Thanks for coming. You're more British than me. It's fucking, honestly.
It was like when we were in London, the amount of Iranian and Israeli flags for it's just stupid. It's a demo for Britain, and you're flying foreign flags.
He invited a load of fucking Iranians to come.
Yeah, yeah, he did. Yeah, we saw them all marching through. There was about 50 of them.
It's shocking, that is, man. Really shocking. So you won't be going to Crew again, then, will you?
I don't know if they'll accept me next time. I don't know. We'll see.
I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't. Honestly.
One thing, the screen is apparently sharing. So can somebody let me know if they can see it or whatever? And I was going to play the clip for you guys so you could see the size of that crowd and whatever. And whilst that clip was playing, I was going to go get a charger for my camera.
Right.
I don't know whether it's a setting you need to change.
No, I'll be able to do it now. Give me a sec, right?
There we are. Because apparently it is sharing. It just needs to, I don't know, maybe be confirmed or whatever.
There you are.
Yeah, there we go. I can see that.
There we go. Awesome. Right. So I'll play this a minute. And I think the first segment where they're hounding the lone Aryan front member, the really good thing about this clip is it really highlights the size of the crowd. So whilst this plays, I'll chuck my mic on mute. And, just let me know if you can hear it first. I'll play it first. Let me know if you can hear it. Could you hear that then?
Not very well, like.
Okay. Let me just try turning the volume down a little bit. It's very overpowering in my headphones. If not, I'll just play it on mute. Because nothing really is important that's said. It's the visual more than anything else, right? I'll leave this play for you guys, and I will be back now.
All right.
I haven't actually seen this either, Joe, so it's the first time for me.
Yeah, I've seen it, but from a different angle. But look how many twat auditors there are there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Same as me. I've seen it on a different angle, but not actually Judge's footage. Like,
All they want is a clip that's going to go viral so they can try and make some fucking money out of it. They don't care if they get someone locked up.
by the sounds of things as well, Goldstein will give him money. He was desperate to see his face.
Yeah, I know. Thing is, what Goldstein doesn't realize is that guy, if he didn't have his bodyguards with him, that guy would knock him out in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just full of shit, he is. He just bottled out from that fucking boxing match, didn't he? He was going to have
he did.
some Muslim, and he fucking, not very well. You know, but he's fucking well enough to bully somebody when he got a load of bodyguards with him, like. And then he's happy to want to dox the guy and get him probably arrested and fucking sacked from his job, like, you know? I don't know what's wrong with these people. I really don't fucking know what's wrong with them. That they got nothing else to do than hassle somebody for being racist on a fucking on a right-wing demonstration against a fucking rapey cult. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they got nothing else to do except attack people and call them racist. I don't fucking get it. I just don't get it. They're just like a load.
It's still that weird, mate. People are terrified of it, and I just can't understand why.
And they'll throw their own people under the bus rather than be called the word. Like, God's sake, man.
Like, if people were more racist, 250,000 girls wouldn't have been raped up and down the country.
Well, hundreds of people wouldn't have been fucking murdered either.
Exactly.
So, that now, George, or what?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Right.
There we are. So yeah, that was the actual where I paused it. Then that was where White Vanguard were coming in. So that's just the size of the crowd. Of I don't know how many were there. You had like mixes of like kids that were there, teens, obviously adults as well. Yeah. So it was just all of them were hounding them. At one part of the audio, I think, was then the one guy saying to the police, like, no, we don't want them here, using terms of white supremacist and stuff like that. What about you're not with us and all that kind of stuff.
They've done the same thing in Wrexham, haven't they, as well? Like, they've kicked off a bit about fucking about PA and that, like, Oh,
right. Okay. Yeah, you'd be more equipped to talk
well,
about that.
I think it was that
they were okay with that. They were okay with me.
Yeah, I know. Well, they were having a go at me about some guy going up there throwing Nazi salutes. He's nothing to do with me, and saying PA and not welcome there and all that sort of thing. I haven't even fucking been there, like.
It's a shame. A lot of it is guilt by association, isn't it? I think you said that person, they're not actually affiliated with PA. They just said they were, and then all of you get smeared because of it.
I know. Well, it is what it is, isn't it? Like, but this is the problem with these little demos, see? Is you got Civ Natty Tommy Tad types going there and then whispering in people's ear, don't have Nazis, you don't have racists, you, and all this shit, And it's at this time in history, I don't care. I'll stand next to any fucker. I don't care who they are. I don't even care if I don't like them. It's just like we haven't got time to mess about anymore.
And if you look at all the stuff, like, for example, Tommy and Paul have done, they haven't achieved anything in all the years they've been doing this.
No, because it's like Tom and Jerry, right? If the cat catches the fucking mouse, the game is over. The show is over, right? They don't want to achieve anything. They just want the grift to carry on. They'll still be moaning about fucking Muslims in fucking 20 years' time when we're a minority. And they'll just be doing the same shit, like.
What made me laugh, Joe, was when, I watched the live stream of like their thing they did for in Southampton.
Yeah.
And it was a Sikh who killed Henry, but the first thing that they started saying was Muslims.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're controlling. It's like that guy, one of the Epstein team, said that he was cheap at half the price because they've literally put him into a position where everything that happens, he's at the top of it to control it. And that goes for Henry Novak demo down there, which when it kicked off, all of a sudden his team were there taking control, and they always will be. And if anybody like Mark Collett turned up, well, they'd be run out of there, wouldn't they? It's as simple as that. Like, and this is what it is. It's they have to control nationalism. They can't allow nationalism to grow without including them. And you know what I mean by them, right? They can't allow it to happen without them being in control of it, and they have to have this narrative that it's only the Muslims, and the Henry Novak thing sort of fucked it up for them, didn't it, a bit, especially then when you saw the bad behavior of like Bobby Singh and all them other wankers as well. It showed, it was just one bad apple until Bobby Singh and all his fucking hundreds of followers all voted on whether they should shit on the grave, like.
That's exactly the point I was about to. That's exactly what I was about to say.
You know what I mean? So that sort of fucking ruined it for them, didn't it? At the end of the day is, and I've heard him doing interviews and saying the Hindu and the Sikh birth rate is not high and all that. Yes, it fucking is. It's like Mark's been through all the birth rates. The lowest one is ours.
Yeah.
And like this. Literally what is happening to us, not just in this country, is a genocide. This is ethnic cleansing, right? To create a situation where foreigners are flooded into a country and they, the situation is created that they can breed faster than you. So they're going to outbreed you. That is ethnic cleansing. It's a fucking genocide, right? And if it was happening to any other race, there'd be murders over it. And you literally have a look at Eva Vladrenbrooks, that the Safe Europe Act thing on Twitter. The EU is saying that, this proposal they've got for mass deportations is anti-European. And it's like, this is a last ditch attempt to save the European people from extinction. And they're saying it's anti-European, so trying to ensure that our race is continued is somehow, well, it's racist, basically, so we should lie down and be fucking replaced.
Yeah, and you only got to look at the demographics as well of when you see a poster or an advertisement promoting abortion versus promoting, having a family and stuff like that. Usually you see specific demographics in either. The trend is going quite clear. When they encourage large families on behalf of people that are coming in, and they encourage the native people to not have children, or they vastly encourage then things like abortion and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's on multiple fronts. This genocide by replacement is coming in. It's on multiple fronts.
Yeah, of course. But it's there's one goal, and that is to get rid of us.
It's an attack on really the last weapon that we would have as well, which is democracy, which is the vote, isn't it? So I think you've only got to, have a certain amount of people come in to completely sway the vote, and that could be it forever. And that's the last one you go, because we don't really have the freedom of right to things like to bear arms like the Americans do. And really the vote is really the only thing that we have left. And that's where you see that this attack is coming from as well, is to take every single avenue we have to resist away from us.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like, and look what's happening with like, Restore now. It's like Reform looked good for a while, and then the rug was pulled out from underneath us. And, that's just a complete and utter joke now, but, and then you've got the same thing happening with Restore, and you've got that, like that little Tom Howard, whatever his name is today, like, saying, oh, Rupert's told him that he hates ethno-nationalism and he's had to stamp on a few people over it and all this sort of thing, like, and whether you believe it or not, like, innit, it just feels like you're waiting for the rug to be pulled again, like, and
it's happened too many times now at this point.
Yeah,
it does bring
like
me on
you
to
almost
something.
Expect it now,
Yeah, it does bring me on.
All this time that we're piss-assing about and thinking, oh, in a couple of years' time, we're going to win an election. In a couple of years' time, we're going to win an election. Every fucking day that goes by, thousands and thousands of them are flying in. You never mind coming on fucking boats, right? They're flying them in, and it won't be long before it doesn't matter who turns up and creates a political party. We won't be able to fucking vote our way out of it anyway.
It's like with all the demos outside hotels and stuff, Joe. Like, yeah, it's a victory. You've closed one hotel, but they just scatter them. They just move them, and then they move them into houses, into your areas, and then you actually don't know where the hell these people are.
Yeah, well, that's what they've done in Llanelli.
Yeah,
that's exactly what they've done there. Like the people, most of the people have just gone back to normie land now, right? And like once a year, they have a party in the Straddy Arms, dancing around, smoking cigars, and saying this is we beat the Home Office, and then in the town, they're turning all these houses into fucking HMOs and filling them with foreigners. So it's like they're thinking, oh, those twats in Llanelli think they beat us. We'll have them. We'll just fill all the houses with them. They're swamping the place with foreigners, and they're doing it everywhere. It's starting to happen all over the valleys.
Contest to that, absolutely. On the restore thing, though, just to take it back a little bit, because obviously one of us is absent today, but he did send me something that links in with what we were talking about restore and how people can get caught up in this sort of cult-like behavior where you can't criticize anything to do with anything, which I think is quite important, because there is some, criticisms that should be leveled at Restore, certainly from a nationalist perspective, but also other things that I'm going to tell you about now with this statement given to me to read by Dalton, who sadly couldn't be here this evening, highlighting that, again, there's potentially some suspect things going on behind the scenes, just unnecessarily dodgy things. So this is what I just want to read now, and it also ties in with a stream he was in the other night, highlighting him or tying it in with the cult-like behavior, where if you bring up any kind of criticism, like they ban you from contributing to chats or whatever. So please unban Dalton after I read you this statement. So we were told in the London training day, the London Restore training day, that all donations to branches should go through the donation page on the national website to avoid any financial controversies. Then we were told to email and they'd release the money to the branch. We followed procedure only to be told they recommend holding the money to be used for local elections next year, even though the donor specifically stated the money to be used on setting the branch up and not elections. It was more like for local resources and stuff like that, as far as I'm aware. I was just telling the story on how the inner workings of Restore are far worse than what the online right are complaining about. Then, this is referencing the stream chat that he was in now, I was told, says you, and banned from the chat. He came back, and this was during a conversation with the leader of the National Distributors Party as well, by the way. Came back to try and steer the conversation back to the NDP. He was asked why by a mod, explained that this is an interview specifically with the leader of the NDP, and he was banned again, this time for the remainder of the stream. So one seemingly for trying to steer a conversation in the relevant direction, given it was a conversation with the leader of a political party, and another one for highlighting that there potentially are some really dodgy things going on the inside of Restore, which if we want Restore to be the best vehicle possible, these really dodgy things need to be confronted head on and usually need to be exposed. They don't say sunlight is the best disinfectant for no reason. So can't go hiding from these things, can't go silencing people. That's the exact same thing that we complain about all the time. People complain about it during COVID, people complain about it during BLM, that people were silenced and people were trying to tell the truth. You have the same thing going on now with large parts of the right. If things are uncomfortable, we need to confront them head on.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
100%.
and like, the thing is with people like Harwood is like, they're using this term ethno-nationalist to attack, and they've what they've done is like Tommy and all these people. They like we've had to distinguish ourselves from Civnat, right? So they've said, oh, if you're blood and soil, right? If you agree there's only one type of nationalism, that is only one type of nationalism, and that's shared ancestry and soil, right? But we've had to distinguish ourselves from Civnats, right? Because, people need to know there's a difference between us and those twats, right? But like, really, we shouldn't call ourselves ethnats, because we should just call ourselves nationalists, because there is only one type of nationalism, right? And we'll just call them idiots, right? But like, this is what's happened now is the term ethno-nationalism has been bandied about so much now that it's come to mean like you're a neo-Nazi, right? So now you've got Rupert thinking he has to distance himself from that, right? Because he thinks it means neo-Nazis, right? So do you understand what I mean? It's like we've fallen into their trap by saying, yes, we're ethno-nationalists. And it's, to normies, it probably sounds like we're saying, oh, yes, like, we're neo-Nazi. Do you get what I mean, right? We should just say, from now on, we're nationalists. And Civnats, well, I don't know what they are. You know what I mean? Divnats is what they are. They're just
Retards.
they're liberals who don't like Islam.
That's literally what I was about to say.
And they probably just don't like Islam because it would throw trannies off roofs and things, right? That's, and that's it, like, right? So I think what's happening, and behind the scenes, when you got people like Tommy saying they support Rupert, you got other twats like Lawrence Fox and that saying they support Rupert. You know that behind the scenes they'll be whispering in his ear hole saying, disavow racism. You have to disavow. Do you get what I mean? And this is what's happening. But like they need to stand their ground. There is nothing wrong with being white, right? Our enemies have got no fucking problem calling us white when they're, asking for us to be destroyed. So why are we scared to say we're proud of being white? It doesn't mean you hate anyone else. It just means you love your people and you don't want them to be fucking destroyed and just become a figment of history, So from now on, people, and this is a thing that leads to like the situation that happened in Crewe, where all these twats think they've got to prove they're not racist by attacking somebody, somebody that's there for the same reason as they are, like.
It's playing the left sort of game, as well, isn't it? It's pandering to what they want, because when you're trying to pander in this way, you can't, even if you don't mean to, even if you don't realize it, you can't help but look weak. You almost need to be standing firm and just being willing to take that hit.
But not just that though, George. The demos are weak anyway. I mean, if you're all going to stand around drinking and smoking weed, right? It's just a piss up. It's just a day out for them. They don't care, right? They go home, and what have they actually achieved? Like you look at London when Tommy does his stupid show, right? Because that's all it is. It's literally theatre. Having people doing the fucking hacker on stage. Oh yeah, you've really solved the ethnic cleansing that's going on in this country.
And I will confirm, because obviously we were in the demo pretty much from where it started all the way to where it finished up outside of Webb House. There were a couple of places where you'd walk by, there would be a strong smell of marijuana and stuff like that. And I think you could tell that people's sort of conduct was starting to fade as the protests went on and on and on. There was the clip of the guy doing like Baby Shark and stuff like that. Obviously there was the fight that broke out right outside Webb House as well. So there's a lot of things there that could have been done a lot better. I can see where people are coming from then when they give a lot of people who were at this demo, seemingly conducting the demo, a little bit of stick because of it. Because you have this horrible, arranged marriage, child sex trafficking, evil, Islamic cult in your area, and doing baby shock and seemingly having a big party outside of the of the house, outside of the estate where it's at. It's confusing optically, So there's a lot of things that could have been done better.
This is the thing, Judge. There's nothing to party about anymore. There is literally nothing to party about. We got a few years before we are a minority in our own country. We will never be able to vote out of a system. We will be oppressed under their rules, and it'll go to segregation rules as well. We won't be able to get houses. We won't be able to get certain jobs because white.
We'll be going the same in South Africa.
This is our country.
Third class at best,
Yeah, so it's our country, and I can't work it out. What throwing this stupid little party is going to do, and getting pissed. It doesn't do anything. If people got organised and actually went and did what they had to do, trained up, got ready, it put a lot more fear into like the government than it would having a piss up outside somewhere.
Oh, this is the problem. It's just scattered, and after all these years, it should now be organised. Like I said, that the EDL was when the EDL first took off, and that I thought like this was it, right? And the police at one time estimated that there was 30,000 people street active, right? And that's a lot, that is, right? Because you got for every one person that'll go out on the street, you got hundreds and hundreds who won't, but still support you, And there was 30,000 people taking part in demos, and then it was all destroyed from the inside, just like the BNP was as well, And by now there should be something massive in this country, and there's not. The biggest thing we got is Tommy, and all he's interested in is doing a fucking his version of the Notting Hill Carnival once every 6 months,
and entertaining his paymasters. Can't forget about that.
Yeah, I know. Well, he is an ethno-nationalist, but not for this country, for fucking Israel. That's basically it. And his job is to make sure that all these hundreds of thousands of people's righteous anger never amounts to fuck all. That's what his job is. It amounts to a street party every 6 months.
It's almost, I think it might have been
around with a bucket to collect the fucking money.
I think it might have been you who actually coined this phrase, or whom I got it off, Joe. Is it's like a pressure valve, like UTK is like a pressure valve. Yeah. It's just enough to let off that steam just enough so things don't boil over, but then seemingly will result over time in the same containment, nothing actually changing because you give them just enough of a release to where they're like, oh, okay, we made a real big difference there. Next months go by, you have all of the horrific headlines coming through the news, whether it's a boat rape or a new rape gang has been uncovered, whatever else, and that anger builds again. You might have another, God forbid, you might have another Henry Novak, or you might have whatever else, and people are ready to go again. By that time it's the next UTK or the next whatever event it is, and then there's that pressure valve, and nothing actually then results in any kind of substantive change.
Look at Henry Novak, right? Nothing's changed. You saw that where was it recently? And he was getting, I think it was in Birmingham, and he was getting attacked by a load of blacks. And who did the police rush? Him.
Oh, the white guy, yeah.
Yeah, it don't make sense.
It was Birmingham. They actually said, the police actually said as well, just an update, that they found nothing wrong with the officer's conduct. They said that on X recently.
Of course they did, then, because the kid's white. That's the problem. If he was black or Muslim or any other race or religion, he would be, protected.
And then there's those clips as well afterwards where they're trying to bundle him into the car, and they'd never treat anybody who had any kind of other protected characteristic like that, whether it was religion, whether it was race, whether it was ethnic origin, whatever else, sexual orientation. They'd never treat anybody else the way that they treated the the kid in Birmingham who they tried to bundle into the back of the car, swearing at him, speaking to him the way that he does, trying to bundle him into the car backwards. I don't know if anybody's seen those clips. I might have them.
They called him a dick, didn't they?
Yeah, they'd never do. They'd be sent off to diversity prison if they said that.
They never called the guy that stabbed that Henry a dick, did they? They didn't even fucking handcuff him, like, you know?
It's the same with the rape gangs. This shit has been going on for way too long now, where they choose another race's or religion side over the whites. It's too obvious now. Like people go on about two-tier and stuff like that. It's been happening years, and it's still happening. You have like a little glimpse of it. Everyone gets pissed off with like Henry, for example, or the rape gangs. But this is happening daily. It's just probably not getting recorded and put all over, X. It's happening all the time.
Well, that's why they want to censor X as well, isn't it? I've got that clip ready if you want to watch it or whatever. The clip where they bundle him into the car. I've got it ready.
Yeah, I'll add it now.
Here we go. The volume is on. I hope it's not too bad, or you can at least hear it. I'll just put it up a little bit.
I can't hear nothing.
Can't hear nothing anyway.
I don't know if it's just.
They weren't treating the guy that stabbed Henry Novak like that, were they? Let's face it.
Yeah, as long as you could see it, they were. They would say get in the fucking car and stuff like that. They would never ever treat anybody whom it would be an optical nightmare if they did. They never ever.
But if they treated a black guy like that, they'd be riots, wouldn't they? Let's face it.
Oh, 10 million %.
Yeah, 100%.
Did you watch that thing in the Senate yesterday then, George?
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, no.
No, neither did I.
We can go over that. Do you want to quickly show the clip of what happened with the police officer initially, just in case people hadn't seen it? There's got 4.8 million views on it, but again, I'll play it without the volume because if the volume's rubbish, there's really no point. I'll just quickly bring it up in the thing. So this is what sort of sparked it off. There we go. Just sharing now. There we go. I'll play it with the volume off. Just there's really no point. There we go. No, I thought the volume was off. There we go. So they're about to, there's a confrontation happening. They grab him, take him to the floor, and they start attacking him. And who do the police go for right away? And that's what they were more upset about there, that he seemed to sort of attack the officer, That was what they were more upset about. So just let that play one more time.
He's one of them idiots that talks like they're black anyway,
Yeah.
But, so I don't really care what happens to him. But at the end of the day, they went for him because he's white. And
110%.
And he's lucky the police were there, because otherwise he would have got his brains kicked out, if he's got any brains. Because they were going to batter him there then, weren't they?
And it's always as well, the police, they don't actually seemingly now police the crime if it's in a situation like this. They police the reaction, They don't police the rape gangs. They don't rescue the girls from the rape gangs. They arrest the father, go into, try and rescue his daughter or whatever, or, whatever else. But something that actually did come up in that Rupert Lowe podcast with... that he seemed to sort of hint at was that the Sikh community, when their girls were targeted, they seemed to, that they sort of rose up against it. And then you have people from our, the native background trying to do the same. They seem to face a lot more hardship. So again, you have this sort of selective sometimes of who can resist and who can't in the eyes of the state as well. It's just to show that, people need to realize, as a native Brit, that every single thing is stacked against you. The only thing that really we have is each other as this wider extended family,
Well, the thing is, people people say, in Rotherham and Rochdale and that, where were all the lads? Where was all the lads? But I know, right, because we were going up there all the time, right, that there was a lot of trouble there, right? There were shops being attacked. There was taxis being torched and all that sort of thing. And what happened? They came down on the white community that were doing it like a ton of bricks, right? And not a lot of people know that those things were happening, but they were happening. right? It's not that in all these areas the girls were just all raped by these gangs and nothing ever happened, right? Because the football lads and other people did try to fight back against it, but the police, like I say, they came down on them like a ton of bricks, like, you know, and that's what they will do. And it happened incidentally because when the Straddy thing was happening, all these young lads set up patrols, and they were walking around all dressed in black, like what, you know, the Vanguard lads do. And they were walking around the town centre, and there was like beggars, foreign beggars, and all that sort of thing. And they were saying, "Fuck off," and they were making them go, and they did go. They were saying, "You're not sitting here fucking begging all day. Go, or we're gonna kick the shit out of you." And they were getting rid of them, and they were doing that for a few weeks, and then they all got arrested, and a few of them got remanded in custody because they will not. The police won't patrol. They won't protect our communities, but they won't have us do it ourselves either. They won't have any. They won't have any vigilante patrols. They will not have it, like, you know.
Well, they need to do their fucking jobs then, don't they?
Well, they won't do their job.
Because regardless of that, Joe, it's going to come. It's going to come a time where people are going to do vigilante jobs. And it's you know what? At this point, I would say it's probably a long time coming. Because it's so obvious that the police aren't doing their jobs to protect the ethnic race of this country, the homogenous people of this country. They're not doing it. They've already chosen the side of, you know, they've already said white people guilty, brown or black, innocent. That's essentially what it comes as nowadays.
They're just the enforcement arm of a corrupt regime now, and the regime's main aim is to destroy the white race.
Yeah,
and that's the fact.
Whereas protect and serve at one point might have meant protect and serve the people. Now it means, in my eyes at least, protect and serve the government interest. And the government interest, as you mentioned, Joe, is the elimination, the minoritization first, but then, you know, the subjugation and subsequent elimination of the native people. There's no other way to view it at this point.
No. Well, that's the thing. And, you know, like they will not protect our communities. And when things happen, like Southport, you know, the first thing that the Prime Minister did was promise a load of money to mosques for security. And since that's happened, there's been the guy got killed walking his dog. The girl that worked in a hotel got stabbed to death. There's been a girl stabbed to death on a bus stop in Birmingham. There's been loads of things, right? There's never any talk of protecting us. Never, ever. You know,
if you think about it as well, with the police, going back to the police not doing their jobs again, it makes sense that they don't. Think about it. If they are able to lay back enough to the point where they actually provoke somebody, a good citizen, say a good man or a good group of men, to go out and do something, well, that's just then forcing them to put a target on their backs, and then they can arrest them and take them out. And it means that then those good men have now, whether they realize it or not, and whether they intend to or not, have taken themselves out because they had to make themselves that target to defend people. So the police are goading them into a trap. They're goading everybody into a trap to then get rid of the good ones that would stand up for their communities and would stand up for their people. The people need to understand how rigged the game is, you know?
Yeah, and the thing is if anybody does come out and do an attack like that, then it's just a further excuse for more hate speech laws and more restrictions on the internet. Well, so it's pointless. Attacks like that don't help us at all, you know. And I wouldn't be surprised if when they do happen, like in Scotland last week, that it's not fake, you know, just so that they can say, oh, look at these right-wing extremists here. We need tighter hate speech laws, You know, without freedom of speech, there is no freedom. Right.
That's what they always do. They promise safety. They promise safety, like with the Online Safety Act. Oh, well, what we're doing is to protect children from nonces. Right. Okay. So what about the actual nonces walking around on the streets? You're not doing anything to protect them. If anything, you're constantly passing them back to them.
But not only that, they conveniently left out one of the non-seest apps of that online safety building.
Yeah.
You know, the social media.
But it's not just that, though. It's not just that, though. What made me laugh about the whole thing, right? So a couple of months back, when everyone was kicking off about digital ID, Oh no, that's wrong. We can't be doing that. But then they push something like safety, and the normies are now convinced. Oh well, yeah, it's probably a good idea to keep kids off social media. But then what they don't seem to realize is we're all going to have to put our identities in. You know, it's coming.
Yeah.
We'll have to prove who we are as well. So it's everyone.
It's not just the kids.
And not just that, by doing that, they're controlling what we're watching, they're controlling what we're seeing, and controlling who we're talking to.
It's amazing how thick the normies are. It really is amazing how thick.
It's amazing how many times I talk to people, they still believe that we live in a free society. You know?
There's nothing free about it. Everything's bought and paid for.
There's literally people sometimes I do talk about, usually those who, let's just say, who are entering the autumn or winter of existence, let's say, who still think that we have freedom of speech in this country. You know?
Sure.
Just like
what we do, if you're not white.
Yeah.
If you're not white, you have freedom of speech.
Yeah, well, you can say what you like, then, can you? But we
exactly.
can't say anything. They've got us tiptoeing around saying, "Oh, the N word, the P word. Oh, he said the P word." Like we're 12 years old, like we're little kids saying P word, N word, P word, N word. Right? We're not allowed to say those words, even to describe someone else saying those words, right? Because we could get nicked, like, you know what I mean? And like, is that freedom of speech, do you think? You know, like Starmer sits here trying to bullshit Trump. Oh, we've always had freedom of speech. Yeah, man. It's just like, what? What are you on about? Like, absolutely gaslighting him, you know? And I'll sit here and I'll defend that till I die, like, you know? When I just locked up Lucy Connolly. You know what I mean? Oh, man, you couldn't make it up, like. And all the time, like,
Wayne O'Rourke as well, wasn't it? Wayne O'Rourke as well.
Yeah.
Back in the day, right? Back in the 80s, it was like the Public Order Act of 1986, right? Which is one of the main ones they still nick people for now for posting stuff, right? It's displaying words or, you know, images which could incite racial hatred. That could literally mean anything, right? And like we were trying to tell people back then, but like most people thought, that's never going to affect me, so I don't give a shit, you know? And then they've added bits and bobs and different laws on now. And now you're at the stage where they're knocking people's doors and arresting them for Facebook posts, you know? And it was like, I can remember I was in work one day, it was about 2011, and Keir Starmer was like the director of public prosecutions, and he was on the radio and he was saying, I'm going to change it so that the Public Order Act can be used in relation to online stuff now, because if you say something insulting online, it's the same as saying it to someone's face. So he was the guy that initiated this bullshit now, where you've got like 12,000 people a year being arrested for posting on the internet. And you know, more than half of them probably get no further action, you know? But like,
it's just communism though, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's exactly what they brought in by doing all of this stuff, is essentially communism.
Yeah. This is the thing, see? But it's like, you know, even if you get no further action, if you get arrested, they're taking your laptop, they're taking your phone, they're searching your house, you know? So, and most people now will be self-policing, because they'll be, like, sometimes I'll type something and I'll think, oh, that could be, maybe I could get a nick for that, fuck it, and I'll delete it. You know what I mean? And it's just like, and it's nothing, I'm not threatening to kill anyone. I'm just typing my opinion about something. And I think, oh, hang on a minute. Do I really want to be leaving my house for work and have a SWAT team fucking jump on me? Like, you know what I mean?
If you have to think about that, you don't live in a free society, do you?
No, well, you don't, do you?
No, not at all.
There's another thing I'd like to share on screen in a sec. If you want to just come up on my X feed, it relates back to the story we were showing before. I think it's just somebody put two images right side by each other on X. I think it just perfectly encapsulates another big problem as well. You know, like with the feminization of society and stuff like that. I mean, this is it, isn't it? This is it.
What is I can't really
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
it's the female officer arresting the white guy on the one side where it says getting beat up by blacks, and then it's the guy who was recently attacked by a group because he was you know, doing awful things, as you can see on the screen, or what I should say, the screen, wherever it's streaming or whatever, and the woman's, you know, trying to like comfort, console. How do that's an open question maybe for like the audience or you guys. Suppose we maybe discuss as well. How does one explain and or fix this? You know, so that's just a little thing I wanted to share.
What you mean, these liberal women, like?
Brain transplant.
Well, we need to deport a lot of them.
There is no answer to it, mate.
No, they can all these women who want to defend killers and rapists, you know, these like women against the far right and all that, they'll all be deported to Somalia. And then see how you get on. Yeah. They're going, regardless of if they're British, they're going anyway. Like, you know, if they like, if you got like you had the woman there, the mother of that Siobhan of what's her name, Rihanna White, down in Brighton, being attacked, being told that it was good enough for her daughter to be murdered.
Awful,
right?
horrendous.
And, like, really speaking, her daughter looked like a lefty, right? And was working in a hotel full of asylum seekers, right? Probably thought she was doing a good thing, helping the fuckers. And then one of them decides to kill her. And then the lefties...
In a particularly brutal fashion, no less. In a particularly brutal fashion.
Which could happen to anyone, right?
Yep.
And it's like when I see that one of them silly auditors, he was being turned away from some lefty coffee shop, and the woman in there was having a right go with him, saying, you've been on the demo, you can't come in here. Like, that woman could finish her shift, walk to the train station, and be fucking stabbed to death by a suit.
Yeah, it could just happen. You just don't know when it's going to happen.
No. And do you think they would care if you were a lefty or not?
No. You're white. Well, you're white. You're the enemy.
You're just
they don't give a shit what politics you have.
She could have had.
The thing is, everyone goes on all the time about stuff and says, sorry, Joe, but everyone goes on about racism all the time. To go back to what we were on about earlier, right? Where everyone's like, oh, racist. You know, they see our race because they hate us. Right, they openly have talked about how much they hate white people. Like the girls they raped doing the rape gangs, it was white bitch this, white slag that. It's obvious. It's like if any of us ever said any of this to, for example, a black or any other race, we'd be arrested for this.
The reality a lot of people got to accept is that even if say, you know, you don't see race or whatever, it certainly sees you.
It does.
It does. Your uniform.
That's just the reality, unfortunately. You know.
I was going to say,
and
like,
the best part of it is the police protect you. The police protect them because our skin is also a thing to them, thing to the police as well.
Well, you've only got a Henry thing, haven't you?
Yeah, our skin is a threat to the police. They see that and they hate it.
He was fucking dying, and they dragged him around like a rag doll and arrested him.
Oh, it's awful, man.
And they
then what they do to the families in the aftermath, the nudge unit and stuff like that, that's just beyond evil.
Well, yeah, 100%. They never, the family never were going to say what they said on telly. That they've had people come around their house and tell them what to say because they knew tensions were getting a bit high. 100%.
Yeah, but they were doing that years ago in the EDL days. We had it because we did a demo up in I think it was in Ashton in Manchester, and this kid had been nearly kicked to death outside this kebab house, right? And we were doing a march there, and his family were all for it, and then all of a sudden they started saying, no, we don't support this, we don't support racism, and we don't. Obviously they was got at, you know, and that was donkeys years ago. So they've been doing this for a long time. And like all they're
Oh,
doing is prolonging the problem.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're kicking
Do you
the
think
can
that's why?
down the road. That's
Because
what
they've
they're
been
doing.
doing it for so long. Do you think that's why a lot of people have just sadly now become conditioned to think this is normal?
But what they'll say to the family is,
This is not in any way normal.
no, that's not normal. No, but they'll say, if you don't do this and there is trouble, well, you could get in trouble.
Yeah.
If you rile these people up and there's a riot, they'll say the situation's volatile at the moment. If you say that you're angry about this and it causes a riot, we might have to arrest you. And you've just had your child. Yeah, you've just had your child murdered. You don't want to be arrested as well. I'm sure they don't just convince them.
Well, it's like how much they push "Don't look back in anger." That was constant. Don't look back in anger. What was it? The Manchester attack one, and they kept saying it. Don't look back in anger. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah,
You should be looking back in anger because innocent people who've just gone to a show have been murdered by some guy who shouldn't have been here in the first place.
Yeah. Yep. So, and then nothing happens, nothing changes, nothing is done to prevent anything like that happening in the future. Nobody, even the people on terror watch list, are not deported. So all we then do is shut up, go back to normal, and wait for the next one.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
And that's like clockwork then, isn't it? You read them and you read the headlines in the news all the time. It's, if not every day or every other day, multiple times a day of horrendous things come in. There's another rape or another gang rape or another, murder, rape gang, whatever it might be, right? It's just...
This is the thing for me, right? This is going to happen in Wales, right? We're not really talking about it. No one mentions anything. But obviously, with us being this nation of sanctuary scheme, we are going to take in thousands, if not millions, of people. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen, yeah.
It won't take that many to replace us because we're a very small population.
Yeah, we are the minority of Britain. Welsh people are the minority of Britain. And
only 3 million to start with, yeah.
So it's already going to happen. Like, if you're a nation of sanctuary, well, when do you say enough's enough? How many people do you let in before you say, oh, well, the sanctuary's a bit full now?
Well, according to Llynys Medi, the Plaid Cymru representative, it's, the millions of quote-unquote oppressed women in Afghanistan, I think it was, who the women alone would be enough to ethnically cleanse Wales multiple times over, completely, 100%. And
that Sioned Williams wanted all the Palestinians as well. Yeah. And the other day they had a row in the Senedd with Reform because they're saying we need to take a load of Sudanese refugees, and it was a Sudanese refugee that killed what's her name? The one at the hotel. Yeah, and it was a Sudanese guy that tried to behead a fella in Ireland. And he said something like 268 rapes in a year in this country were done by Sudanese refugees, right? And all that Plaid Cymru did was shout and scream, call him a racist, and storm out of the chamber, right?
Was that in the recent debate, did you say? Was that in the one yesterday?
Not yesterday. This was like last week. If you look at Doge Wales, the Doge Wales account on Twitter is at Senedd Waste, right? And they put up videos from the debates all the time, and it's an eye opener.
I wonder if they've got some from yesterday. I wonder if they've got some from yesterday's.
There's only a few little ones from yesterday, but I watched the whole debate yesterday, and it was absolutely epic, right? Because although I don't support Reform because of Farage, right, and Youssef, right, and the fact that they took all those Tory rejects who were directly responsible for flooding us with migrants. I don't support Reform, but there's 34 Reform members in the Senate now, and we're in a much better position with them there than we 100%. Would be without them, right? Because in 26 years of the Senate, there's never been anyone in there to tell them no, right? Yeah. Because they're like children who don't know the word no, right?
Well, with Labour were in charge, weren't they? And then Plaid were always backing them up and pushing for their stuff to go further. So
Well,
obviously now
yeah,
with Labour being a minority in Wales.
yeah. Well, it's the thing. There was a motion yesterday to scrap the Nation of Sanctuary, right? And the Nation of Sanctuary has cost about 60 million quid already, right? That's without all the other expenses like housing costs and all that, right? Anyway, this debate was, it was like, I think it was something like 38 votes against it and 52 for it. So they're keeping it, right? But I watched it. It was really good. Like, and Sioned Williams, she done a big speech about the freaking Holocaust, right? You're like, we have to take refugees in Wales because of the Holocaust. It's as simple as that, right? And she was like, she was going to start crying, right? And she was and mental. She was mental, right? And then you got Lindsay Whittle, who just won the election in Caerphilly, and he gave this big speech about, oh, you know, in the old days in Wales, we took Italians, we took Irish, we took Ukrainian refugees. You know, long time ago, there was a Ukrainian club in Caerphilly. Like, you know, we all grew up with Italian people and Irish people and all that. Like, they didn't come here to this country for fucking freebies, right? They came over here to work, right? They are, you know, racially near enough the same as us, right? They didn't come here raping everyone. They didn't have machete fights in the fucking streets, right? And trying to say that the Irish and the Italians coming here, you know, is the same as what's happening today with boatloads and fucking plane loads of Africans and Arabs and Albanians. Well, there's no equivalence at all, is there? It's just an absolute, it's bullshit, is what he's.
Well,
I
I think you hit the nail on the head. You know that woman saying about it's because of the Holocaust we have to take in immigrants. I think that is the reason we have to. I think she hit the nail on the head without actually meaning. Like, we can cut all of this bullshit, but let's be real. The reason we're getting flooded is because of that.
Yeah. Well, you know, and
revenge campaign.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, exactly. Revenge. It's 100%.
This is why you can't have a country, right, because of the Holocaust, right? You can't have that. So you've got to fucking lay down and let foreigners take it from you because Holocaust, right?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
What they're saying, like, right?
Correct me if I'm wrong. We were on the opposite side to that, weren't we?
Well, if you were,
we were fighting the people supposedly doing that, right?
You wouldn't think that it was that we sent all our soldiers over there to fight the fucking Germans, and we were supposedly on the Jews' side. You would think it was the other way around, wouldn't you? Like, you know what I mean? So, you know, the whole thing is bullshit, right? And it's like, we can't let Nigel Farage win an election because of the Holocaust. You know, it's just like, that's a stick to beat us with, and it's not going to fucking work, like, right?
But it's also bullshit as well, because the more I think they know cleverly what they're doing. The more they push against reform, for example, the more the normies are going to go, oh well, you know, let's vote for them to fuck them off. But what they don't seem to realize is, like, reform's got that. Is it like Reform Friends of Israel or something like that?
Yeah.
But they're already bought and compromised. It's like they mentioned the Holocaust and stuff, and obviously in the war we were the ones going to saving the Jews. So if that's the case, why are they supplying weapons to the Falklands?
Yeah, well, you know, at the end of the day, right, the whole thing is a load of bollocks, right? And we're not going to just let our country be taken from us and our children's future denied, right, because of the Holocaust. We're not going to, right? And that's the fucking end of the matter, you know? And like the fact that they're trying to, because what they're doing is shouting the word Holocaust, because the most normal people will shit themselves just from hearing that word, right? And you know, they don't want to argue with it, and they just go, oh shit, oh, let's just crawl back into the corner. You know, I don't care what words they use. We're not fucking surrendering our country. And, and like, it's time people woke up, and it's time people just basically got some fucking bottle, because people are still terrified. And another problem we got is that everyone is just, the majority of people that you meet on a daily basis are thick as fucking shit. Because look at those people, they've just voted for Plaid Cymru. Labour were that bad in Wales that these people voted for Plaid. And like, I've put some videos on of people saying that they voted for Plaid because Labour are bringing too many foreigners over here.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It was that old lady. It was an old lady. It was an old lady in Caerphilly. It was an old lady in Caerphilly.
And another guy. There was an old bloke in Caerphilly as well. And they said, or they were saying to people, "Why are you voting for Plaid then?" "Well, I've always voted Labour." "Why are you going to vote for Plaid this time?" "Well, they're Welsh, aren't they?"
Yeah.
Are they? Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
They're exactly the same as SNP. They're exactly the same as SNP and Sinn Féin. They bring on the whole nationalist idea, like, oh yeah, we're Welsh nationalists, we're Scottish nationalists, we're Northern Irish nationalists, whatever, and then do exactly the opposite for the actual national people.
And they say they're Welsh, right? Someone remind me what one of the Cardiff representatives in a by-election was. What was her name again for Plaid Cymru?
Zainab Akbar.
Thank you. Yeah, she was. There was definitely those people at Glyndŵr's revolt, wasn't there?
Well, she was actually my constituency, so she runs my constituency.
Yeah.
Oh damn, she's successful.
She was handing out leaflets in Urdu.
Yeah.
Right, in Cardiff.
But they're Welsh, right?
For Plaid Cymru. Yeah.
They're Welsh, right?
It's like here we go. How much money are they going to piss away on the Welsh language? Fair enough. Bring the Welsh language back. If people want to learn it, fair enough. But how much money are they going to piss away on it? And then, there's a load of people who can only speak like Urdu, for example. Oh yeah, the Welsh language is going to really work wonders on them, innit?
You walk past a lot of bus stops in Cardiff. There's no Welsh on them. Not even English on them half the time.
No.
That's what I mean.
I have got a clip loaded up as well if you want to play it. It's got the subtitles on it. It's from Senedd Waste. It's Plaid Cymru rep. And obviously the biggest thing when the nation is angry, a lot of the lefties want to say is, it's Ukrainians and stuff like that. Well, he's gloating about how it was used to help people fleeing from the Taliban and Afghanistan and stuff like that, completely blowing that myth out the water. Don't know whether you guys want to see that. I know the audio isn't great, but there is subtitles with it. Here we go. Oh, hang on. There we go. So there you go. I don't know if you could hear it. I don't know if you could hear it. At least you had the subtitles on there.
This is the thing. All we're doing is just the people in charge of Wales are just completely fucking the place up, and they're doing it purposely.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They know exactly what they're doing. Same as everyone in all European countries, all white countries. They know exactly what they're doing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And they use these,
none of this is by accident.
like the nation a sanctuary, just to promote mass migration, just to promote ethnic cleansing, because that's how they word it. Let's try and appease people's morals. Oh, these people are fleeing wars, and let's face it, most of them are economic migrants who are coming over here, and they're taking every opportunity they can.
Have you got the clip of that Indian guy who carried that girl through Cardiff and raped her?
I think I've got it somewhere. I think I put it in the book.
So wasn't that in 2022 or something, wasn't it? So it wasn't recent. But
no, it's not the point. The thing is, there's plenty of things that happen in Cardiff, right? And
and it's not talked about. It's not talked about.
you don't hear about it. Like, you
Yeah,
know?
I've got it here.
Yeah, go on. Just
I'll
tell 'em
I'll
what it's
share it
about,
now.
right?
I'll play it without the video. So I'll read the caption of the post where I got this video from. So it says here, monster caught on CCTV. So it was published on X yesterday, but I think you said that it was from a little while ago. Indian predator carries helpless young woman through Cardiff streets, then rapes her. Sick 20-year-old Indian student spotted a vulnerable, heavily intoxicated woman and carried her like a trophy through a busy city center, straight to his student room. He knew exactly what he was doing. Viewer discretion advised. This footage is not pleasant to watch at all. So, oh shit, sorry. There you go. You can see him carrying her there. Like, she looks lifeless, you know?
Yeah, and that
He
could
is
be
like that. He's paralytic. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say
That could be anyone.
That could be your daughter. That could be your sister. That could be your friend.
Yeah.
You know, Preet Vikal, his name is.
Lovely Welsh name. I know exactly where that is. So that's like as you're coming towards town, in there.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly where it is.
He just dumps her on the floor there. Began to walk home with friends, but was later seen on CCTV being carried by, I don't want to call him a man. Don't know what I call him.
Yeah, well, there's millions of them. There was like,
Can I just pause it there a minute? He was described as a dangerous individual. So seemingly they had prior knowledge that this person, you know, was a danger to people beforehand.
Yeah, well.
And they just let him roam free.
That Alice Gross, right? She was like about 15 in London. She was raped and murdered by some, like, I think he was a Lithuanian or something, right? And or Latvian maybe, and he had been in prison in his home country for murdering his girlfriend, right? And the Met Police said they had no idea that he had previously been done for murder, but even if they did know that, it would not have excluded him from coming to this country.
So who the fuck are we stopping? What's the rule of stopping people then?
Well, they stop you if you're going to one of Tommy's rallies. They'll stop you, right? But they'll only stop you if you're right wing. They won't stop you if you're like. There was a guy years ago that we did a video about it, and he was working as a bouncer in Bristol, and he was responsible for a load of machete murders in Rwanda or somewhere. And he was like a general or something. And they said that he couldn't be sent back because people wanted to kill him over there. So he had to stay. Right. So the last consideration is our people's safety. Right. And this is what I always say to these twats in Cardiff who keep calling me racist. Right. Like that guy that done the stabbing of those children in Southport. His family were moved away from Cardiff because of his behavior and his taking of knives to school. And if they hadn't moved that family to Southport, those murders would have happened at a dance class in Cardiff, right?
Yeah.
And then,
100%.
Then all those people would be probably saying, "Oh, Marcy was right. Marcy was right." But it's only a matter of time before it does fucking happen.
Oh yeah, it will happen. It will happen in Wales. Like it's especially with this nation of science. We're bringing in who we're bringing in. We have no idea at this point. Yeah. It's a matter of time. Wales is a ticking time bomb, and I'm surprised nothing hasn't happened here yet. Like it's a matter of time.
You've already got reports of rape gangs in Cardiff and Swansea and Newport and the big cities.
They're definitely happening in Cardiff. It's not being confirmed and stuff, but it's 100% happening in Cardiff. It's 100% happening in Swansea. It'd be happening in any city or any town in Wales. The Senate won't do a rape gang inquiry. They won't even consider it.
Oh, yeah.
Have a look at the videos on my YouTube, right? There's a guy called something Camwe or something. I did a video about him. He went into a cafe in Splot with a knife, and they arrested him and sectioned him under the Mental Health Act. Then he came out, and then some guy was sat on his doorstep in Splot, right? Flying a fucking a drone or something, and he walked up to him, stabbed him in the fucking stomach. You know, and it's just like these things are happening all the time. And then there was the African guy who raped a girl in a nightclub in Cardiff, and before he went out, he was Googling on his phone local slags. Like as if there's going to be a website called Local Slags, right? But, you know, this is the people that are here. They're doing all these offences, and people say, nothing's happened in Cardiff. Nothing's happened. Well, so there's a girl getting carried home to be raped. There's people being raped in nightclubs. There's fucking stabbings everywhere. And the thing is, they say, well, they're not asylum seekers. No, they're Africans and Arabs who've lived here all their lives, but they're still acting in that way, right? So, you know, you can, like, because in the Senate debate yesterday, they were saying things like, do you know how many asylum seekers there are in Wales at the moment? Only 630. And like, that's, no, because probably
too many.
Because 10,000 of them have been given a passport, probably. Yeah. And once they get the passport, they're no longer an asylum seeker. And all the Afghans that were in the hotels and RAF St. Athan, Barry Council said they're not asylum seekers or migrants. No, they're entitled people. They're entitled persons. So they make up another name for them, right? So no, they're not migrants. They're not refugees. They're entitled persons. So what are you on about? They're not migrants, right? So, and like I said about the prison population, there's 10,000 foreign nationals in our prisons, but there's probably another 20,000 people in our prisons who are blacks or Arabs or Albanians or any variety of foreigner that you want, but they've got a British passport. So they're not classed as a foreign national, right? So, if you know, you could be a Somalian with a British passport. You're not a foreigner as far as they're concerned. So that means if there's 10,000 foreigners in our prisons, how many, you know, non-Indigenous people are in our fucking prisons? Like, you know?
There's too many. It's way too many.
One is too many, right?
Yeah, way too many.
Yeah. And like I said, right, when I was in Wandsworth, because I got locked up a few years ago for pushing a lefty down some stairs, right? But I was in Wandsworth prison, and on the one wing, I was the only white man there, right? And then I was taken over to a foreign wing, and they were deporting 30 people every, like, Thursday. But they were only deporting like Poles and Eastern Europeans. And I was told that they only deport them if they're wanted for a crime back home, right? If they're not wanted for a crime, they don't deport them. And I was put into a cell with an Indian guy, and he had overstayed his visa. He was in prison for violent offenses. And they came in, the immigration, and said, do you want to go home? You can have a couple of grand to go home. And he said, I don't want to go home, right? And they said, okay, well, if you change your mind, here's our card. So they don't even forcibly deport them when they're in prison and they've overstayed a visa, right? So our immigration system, it's not broken. It's working exactly how they want it to work. It doesn't fucking work at all.
Yeah, because isn't that literally... Yeah, you overstay a visa. Isn't that like the thing that's meant to happen? Is that then you are removed?
Yeah, instant deportation.
That's like meant to be the recourse for that specific thing.
Yeah, well, it should be the day he's released into a police car and driven to Heathrow and flown home in handcuffs and tasered if he wants to fuck about, you know, and that's how it should be. They shouldn't be asking him if he wants to go home, if he wants a couple of grand to take with him. You know, it's an absolute joke. And you know what? The other thing, the guy that came up to the cell to see him from immigration was a Somali. And he had,
at this point, it may as well be a fucking joke, can't it?
Yeah. He had border force on his fucking jumper.
Oh, the irony.
You couldn't make it up, like.
No, you can't.
Oh, the irony.
It's bent. The whole thing is bent and broken from the inside. They know exactly what they're doing. This is all planned. Like from the bottom to the top, it is completely planned. They know exactly what they're doing. It's ethnic replacement. You know, why are we paying people to leave?
Yeah.
Why are we paying people to leave? Kick the fucking doors in and send them fucking packing. Yeah. It's not hard. It's really, really not hard. Why? I don't get that. If I overstayed my visa in Somalia, not that I'd ever go to that shithole, yeah, but say I overstayed my visa, they kick me out.
Well, I knew a guy that was over in America on a visa, and him and his mates overstayed, and they just drove around getting pissed, shoplifting and all that sort of thing, right? And they got picked up, and they had no right to be in America, so they took them to a detention camp full of Mexicans, right? Kept them in there for about 6 weeks, and then their families had to pay for their flight home, right? And that's what happened when you overstay in America and take the piss. And if their families couldn't pay, they had to stay in the detention camp indefinitely. So, you know, if you didn't have any family, you would be fucked, like, you know, you would spend the rest of your life there. But they didn't send him home with money. They made him pay, like, you know?
Yeah. It's just such a soft touch, isn't we? That's the thing. And we can't, like, it all comes down to the state, right? It's not necessarily the people that want this. The people are not necessarily always a soft touch, but can't fault people for taking advantage of the system there. And when the system's there to be taken advantage of, and they encourage them to do so. And then they imprison people who try to speak up about the system being taken advantage of. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, you've got to be daft not to take the
in some ways, it's just human nature, isn't it? It's just human nature. It's opportunism.
It's I can't work this out, honestly.
One thing I did load up as well, because I can imagine people were probably, you know, there's going to be one or two at least that are going to doubt that the Senate was so unserious to go on about, you know, the Holocaust again. I have got that clip loaded if you want to play that, the Sean Ed clip.
Is the audio going to work on it, though?
It hasn't got subtitles built in, unfortunately.
Well, let's see if it works. Is this the one? Is it? Yeah.
This is it here. So you can see that's meant to be virtue signaling, not virtue circling, because it's the auto captions. But I'll play it now and we'll see how it goes. This is the clip. It's from Plaid Cymru Exposed on X. So it's not exactly the same account, but here we go. Let's try it and see what happens.
I can't hear nothing.
I can't hear it now.
What if I turn it up? Is that it? Is there nothing at all?
Is this on YouTube? Is this on YouTube?
No, it's on X.
Yeah.
Let me try something.
You should also show him the video, George, of how unserious Plaid are and what we're actually wasting our money on, like planting trees in Uganda.
Oh yeah, that's an actual thing. One thing I have to do, if I play this next video, I'm going to take an option called also share system audio, but the only thing is it means you guys will hear your own voices. If we just, when I play the clip, if we just stay stum, for lack of a better term, just for a couple of seconds, just to see if it does work. I'll play like 5 seconds of it or 10 seconds of it. I'll pause it, and then let me know if you can hear it. Right, I'm gonna hang on. Where is it? You might need to just enable it again, Joe. Right. I'll play about sort of 10 seconds of it. Just let me know if you can actually hear it this time. I'm going to go on mute as well.
Shameful accusation of virtue signaling. Not only are you lacking in compassion.
Did that work?
Yeah, mate.
Right, okay. Well, let this clip play. We'll just have to stay, you know, stum about it. Right, okay, here we go. I'll play this clip now. I'll take the subtitles off if we can hear it.
Shameful accusation of virtue signaling. Not only are you lacking in compassion, you are historically illiterate. After the horrors of World War II, Britain and its allies helped establish the principle that refugees deserve a fair chance to seek asylum. It was ensured that the statement, never again, was manifested in international law. Never again would backs be turned when people deemed illegal, stripped of their citizenship and their rights, dehumanized and persecuted. Such are the Jewish people of Europe. Their backs would never be turned again. That legacy must be protected. When we say never again, we must mean it, we must live it, we must never undermine it. For those reasons, I urge members to reject this motion and agree the amendment.
What is her religion? Is she Jewish?
She's certifiably insane, surely.
Well, she might be that as well.
Left-handed freak.
Certifiably insane.
Is she Jewish though, George?
I honestly have no idea.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It doesn't matter, does it? The thing is, right? If we go with the narrative of World War II, our people didn't turn their backs on any fucker. We sent hundreds of thousands of our young lads to die, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For to stop whatever was happening, right? So how did we turn our backs on anyone? You know what I mean? The whole thing is bullshit, and it's there to make us feel bad, and it's there to make us basically just surrender everything we've got and our history and everything. Just surrender the fucking lot.
Yeah. She's talking to the leader of one of the most pro-Israel, pro-Zionist parties in reform, right? So it's just like they're having this, conflict, quote unquote conflict, but similarly, then they both have these weird points of agreement. They're not actually arguing, but they are. It's just like pantomime,
It's like a Punch and Judy show.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
For the life of me now, I still don't know what Plaid's policies were in the Senate elections. I have no idea. So all I know their policy was vote Plaid, stop reform. That's all I know. I honestly couldn't tell you one of their policies other than continue the bullshit that we're going through. I couldn't tell you one thing. They haven't changed the roads back from 20 miles per hour. We're still driving like that. They haven't done anything. Right? They were Labour's cheerleaders during the 20 years of Labour. They were the ones pushing for everything Labour did. They were like, go on and do that.
Yeah.
So what are they actually going to change?
They had a coalition with Labour.
Exactly.
And they're hand in glove. They're twins of evil.
Yeah.
There was no difference at all, apart from that Plaid Cymru are obsessed with the language and chucking English people out of Wales. That's the only difference,
Honestly, at this point, not to sound like a fake nationalist of my own country, but fuck the language. There's no point writing all the signs and everything in Welsh if every fucker can't even speak English. They can't even speak English or Welsh. What's the difference? You may as well scrap the signs and just write them all in Arabic.
Well,
that David Iwan guy. I heard he's working on he's now working on a Somali version of Amo Heed.
Is that true?
No, I just.
The irony of that is, here means we are still here.
We are still here.
But you're not still there, are you? Because you've left Somalia and you're now here. So what are you on about?
Yeah, the arguments I've had with these Plaid Cymru Muppets about Amo Heed is the fact that, if it's a song about the survival of the Welsh people as a race, right? How do you figure that with flooding us with migrants from countries where people couldn't be any more racially different from us? How do you figure we're going to still be here if there's only 3 million people in Wales and you're planning to bring 5 million, Africans here, right? Because in Ireland, they started out with 4 million people, and their government is saying that by 2030, they want the population of Ireland to be 10 million. So
Fucking
there'll
hell.
be 6 million foreigners.
Yeah.
That's,
So
that's,
how do they
That's
think that?
majority then, isn't it?
That's not
And
ethnic cleansing?
and it's not
How is
ethnic
that not
cleansing.
a
Yeah.
genocide? It's a genocide.
Yes.
Somebody in the chat as well made up a good point. They said it's hard to spot the white man in Birmingham and Leicester. It's so bad. We saw that firsthand in Leicester.
In Leicester, yeah, we
walking
did.
walking down the high street, it is terrifying. It is like you completely transported to somewhere else. I think Joe, you made the remark saying that it's like you've been transported to like Oakwood or some suburb in California or whatever. It is honestly like that with the amount of like HMOs and stuff like that. And
Downtown LA, I said.
Yeah, I think it was downtown LA. Yeah,
but there's so many places like it. There's so many places like. Realistically, right? When it comes to remigration, for example,
you walk down Cardiff is similar.
Oh yeah, mate. There's places in Cardiff now. There's places in Swansea that are all taken. Right? It doesn't matter where. They're both taken. Like, but the thing is, right? So with like this remigration and stuff, most of these people, like, say they're in their little enclaves, like Bradford, for example. How are we going to deport all of those people from there? It's gonna take the army. Regardless of like how like the best deportation plan that we ever come up with, right? It's gonna kick off. They ain't gonna leave.
Yeah.
They're not just gonna willingly leave.
Yeah, that's not gonna be peaceful. No,
because you look at these places where they've all rushed to, right? Obviously now they're doing the Operation Scatter and trying to push them all over the place. But in certain places, like parts of London, right? Look at how many schools there are in Britain where white people are the minority. White kids are the minority, sorry.
I think it's currently 1 in 4, isn't it?
It's not going to be peaceful if we don't remove them, though.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
There's nothing we can do. We're going to lose regardless. It's going to kick off.
What has to happen is that benefits need to be stopped and people need to be offered incentives to leave. And then that would prevent a lot of the trouble, because if they stay, they're not going to get their benefits anymore. And if they leave, they can take money and go, because it would be worth it in the long run to give them money, because, think of the money they're getting. Do you know how much rent is in London? It's like 4 or 5 grand a month.
Yeah,
right?
That's insane.
And the place is full of foreigners. And they're not foreigners who are working as solicitors. They're all on the fucking dole, right? So, if you were to give them a few grand to go, and if they don't go, well, they can stay, but they have to work. And like Ahmed can't get benefits for his 3 wives and 12 kids, then they're going to take the money and go, and that would prevent a lot. But there's going to be trouble if they start saying they're going to deport people. But the fact of the matter is, they're not saying... Restore are not saying they deport everyone anyway. All they're saying is they'll deport the fucking scroungers and the criminals, and
because of how like all of the bullshit though, Joe. Yeah. I have serious doubts now. I have serious doubt about anything.
Well, yeah, so do I. But like I want what Rupert Lowe says he's going to do. I want that to happen, but I don't think it's going to happen. You know what I mean? But I'd be happy if it did, even if
it's the start.
Even if they just deported all the foreigners that's in fucking prison, it would be a good start. Because every time one of these guys goes and kills somebody, they've always been done loads of times before.
Given one thing, because I see a lot of people talking about this on now, the problems with like Restore and stuff like that, mainly like the stuff that Rupert has said recently and stuff like that. Would you guys say that, in your view at the moment, is more so seemingly coming from Rupert personally, or do you guys think that the greater problems are beneath him, or like not necessarily with him specifically, like the inner workings of Restore? Do you think it's a mix of both? What do you think is the biggest cause of why we're seeing this sort of turn at the moment?
I think it's that's going into him. I do.
I think
behind the scenes, people nagging and saying you're going to have to disavow the likes of Steve Laws and all this sort of thing,
I think it's that. I think it is the Civ Nats, Joe. I think you are right. and I think it might be a chosen people as well. I'm not going to say names on there, but I do think it could be. I think it could be. No, I'm sorry. At this point, I do think a lot of the problems are.
Well,
I mean,
I said earlier.
There's one guy. What was the term that he used? New Europeans.
New Europeans. New Europeans.
Dare we forget?
Yeah, well, they're not Europeans, And this
They
is
never
the thing.
will be.
If people haven't seen it, have a look at the Safe Europe Act, right? On Twitter, there's a petition to sign there. They're trying to get 1 million signatures on there, so they can put it to the European Parliament and, demand that we mass deport people from Europe, because Europe's identity is gone, right? It's like I said years ago, I used to go on all them city breaks to Prague, to places. I went to Brussels, I went to the European Parliament, and like when I went to Brussels, they gave you this brochure and they said, stay away from the Turkish areas, but like now, nearly all of it is Turkish areas, and it's like you go to these big cities now in Europe and like they're swamped. They're just swamped. And like if somebody put you in one of these cities like Amsterdam or Paris, you wouldn't know which one you were in because they all look the same, and Europe has lost its identity. And these people, it's like that quote from the Camp of the Saints, like they're saying, they don't care. They'll make a fire with your oak door. They don't care about your heritage. They don't care about your history. They couldn't give a fuck.
Is it your civilization means nothing to them? I think
exactly. It says they'll be tired. They'll be hungry. They'll make a fire from your beautiful oak door, right? They don't care, right? These people should not be in Europe. The European Union is just a communist superstate. And the people running it are not even elected, So the whole thing needs turning around, and Europe needs to be saved.
Can I just I'm not exactly sure how accurate or whatever this is, but something just popped up on my X feed. It's an update on an apparent update. In fact, I'll bring the account and everything up on screen now, just so people can see it. This is apparent update on the low accusations from Tom Harwood, the stuff that he released earlier. It's just what appears to be like a message exchange. So I don't know who the people are that are involved. I don't know how authentic it is, because obviously screenshots can be faked, but I just thought I'd share this now from X. So the account that it's from is on there as well. It says they're chatting to Orla, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce her surname, Minihan right now about the Tom Harwood post. Apparently it's all absolute drivel. Rupert had an argument with Matt Goodwin at the event. Then Tom Harwood kept talking a bunch about ethno-nationalism, where Rupert got annoyed he was bringing it up. And then the person responded, "What a knob, thanks for the update." So I don't know how accurate that is. Just thought that, given it just come up on my X feed, that it was important to share. Could be something that is either vindicated or proven to be completely bullshit in the near future. Suppose we'll see.
Yeah, well, Tom Howard's a little shit anyway, Did you ever see the video where James Costello went up to him?
I don't think so.
He bumped. I looked for it earlier. I couldn't find it. But I don't know what's happened to James Costello. But he's out of prison now. He got locked up. But he bumped into that Tom Howard, and he said, "Oh, my dad loves you," and all that. And he said, and you've seen it, have you?
Yeah, I've seen it. I know the one.
I don't think I have.
He said, "We support the white race, don't we?" To Tom Howard. Yeah. Tom Howard nearly melted.
And it was it was on a line as well, Judge.
Yeah, I think I might know the clip actually. Yeah, I didn't realize it was Costello. I think I know the clip you're on about though. Yeah.
And he's going, "Hiya, Dad," and all that. It was so funny, man.
I think I remember. I remember the clip. Yeah, he shrinks away and walks off, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, he absolutely melts. you know, and that's what he is. He's a little shit. He's an establishment stooge, you know, and he could be just trying to sabotage Rupert, couldn't he? Let's face it, like, you know. So I would,
the biggest thing
take
is when
anything. Go on.
I think it's what you said earlier. When, say, Rupert especially used the term like ethno-nationalism, it gets conflated with neo-Nazism and stuff like that, doesn't it? Very easily. Exactly. So again, that's why you know they have this kind of response.
People will be saying to Rupert, right, behind the door, ethno-nationalism means neo-Nazi. You have to disavow these people, Rupert. And he'll be saying, oh, well, you know, well, you know, I do believe that we need to, protect our people. And they'll be saying, yes, but no, these are Nazis. And that's what they'll be saying to him. So that's what's happening. I can guarantee it, especially when the likes of Tommy are getting involved and saying they support Rupert. They'll be saying, Rupert, we support you, but you've got to say the Indians are all right. You've got to say, do you know what I mean? This is what will be going on behind the door. Like, you know it well.
Well, I mean, Ben Abib was trying to stick him, wasn't he?
They want to piss all over nationalism. They want to make sure that nationalism never, ever becomes an all-white thing, right? For our people. And that's it. That's basically it. That's the job of a gatekeeper, to make sure there is no nationalism that does not include other races. You know, it's like we want to protect our people and our race, right? But we also like black people, and we also love Indians, and we also love the Jews, right? So this is what they want. And then they've watered it down to mean nothing. It means nothing, right? You know, I'm not saying that no other people can live in this country, but we have to be the majority in this country, the absolute majority, and foreigners should not have influence in Parliament. I was listening to somebody earlier saying about the conflict in the former Yugoslavia. The Albanians got in there, got their people into positions of authority, started fucking persecuting the Serbs, right? And this is what is happening here. We've got Muslim independents getting into Parliament. We've got people whose loyalties are with the Caribbean, not the UK, getting into Parliament. You know, this is turning us into a balkanized fucking state. And you know, only ethnically British people should be allowed to fucking be in our Parliament and our government. It's not. I don't think that's an extreme position. Do you?
That's just common sense.
Not at all. I think it's common sense.
Well, exactly, because the minute they get in, they say, "Oh yes, oh you know, oh my family are from Barbados, right? And I'm your MP for Birmingham. And now what I want is reparations for slavery, or I want a new airport in Barbados, or I want this and I want that for my people. I want this for my people." They don't want to advocate for our people. They want to advocate for their own people. They shouldn't be in our fucking government.
It's almost as if they've been planted in from the countries. Yeah.
We can't have the majority of MPs running our country being foreigners. It's just, it can't happen.
It's literally colonization, isn't it?
It's already happening, isn't it? And they are doing exactly what you're saying, Joe. They are doing it. There's no like, you can't unsee it once you see it.
No. Right?
I
don't care what the fucking police say, right? We are not extremists, right? What is extreme is replacing people, preventing people from having a quality of life where they can reproduce and have children, and then flooding them with foreigners who are racially totally different from them, and so that they will eventually be wiped out or become an absolutely despised and hated minority. That is fucking extreme, right? You know, fighting back against it and peacefully fighting back, but I might add, right? And saying, you know, this is our land, you know, our ancestors fought and died for this country, and they didn't go to war time and time again so that we could hand the lot over. to someone else who doesn't give a shit about us. That's not why they went to war. People were fooled into fighting war after war after fucking war, right? On the grounds of they were protecting us from a foreign threat so that we can import a foreign threat. That's not, that's not it.
Because instantly we got dropping bombs on all these nations.
Exactly.
Yeah, we got dropping bombs on all these nations as well. It generates the refugees that then they campaign on.
Yeah. And that's the thing is these people who want to go onto demonstrations and attack their fellow white people for being more racist or too racist, for them, and that they ought to hang their heads in shame. Because if they don't snap out of it, they're going to find out the hard way that what we've been saying all these years is true. Because a lot of people now are saying, like, I was in the BMP in Cardiff, right, in the 90s, and we were fucking hated. We were absolutely hated, right? We were chased through the streets of Canton by people with tools, right? We marched in Cardiff. The one time when we were the Welsh Defence League, we marched through Cardiff, about 300 of us. We had about 1,400 people. We had people coming out of side streets with baseball bats and stuff. We had rocks flying past our heads and all that, right? And now people are saying, actually, you were right. You were right. Oh, I used to hate you years ago, but you were right, But we've put up with all that for years, and we were right, And now that a lot more people have woken up, you've still got people doing it. Still people who can't see the problem and think that we're the fucking problem. I want my children and my grandchildren to be able to go out at night without being stabbed or fucking raped, right? And it's happening all the time. And but we're the extremists for trying to protect against that. It's absolute bullshit.
But it's like with the theory of dogs, for example. Like, say a dog had hurt 250,000 kids, it would be banned. Yeah. It's simple. It's really not hard to work out.
And when a dog hurts a kid, what happens to the dog?
It's put down.
Yeah.
So
there's nothing now in between us and the next attack, right? The next attack, like Southport or the Manchester Arena, there is nothing in the way of that at all, right? Because we were on about
other than diversity barriers, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, I was listening to a stream earlier about Matt Goodwin, and Matt Goodwin used to work for Hope Not Hate. He used to be a researcher he was an advisor for Prevent, and it was his doing that the police turned their attention away from Islamic extremism onto the far right, which is basically us, right? And it was his doing. And now he's working for reform. And
far right is everything.
Yeah, he is the reason that the security services turned their attention away from the Islamic extremism onto us. Right?
And far right is essentially anything to the right of the Tories.
Yeah. And he's famous for saying that the best way to destroy the far right is to infiltrate them and destroy them from the inside. And there he is, So, I don't think our position is extreme, right, guys? Like, all we want is for our race and our people to survive. And that doesn't mean we hate anyone else, just means we love our people and we want them to continue. And we want them to have a good standard of life. And I don't see what's wrong with that.
Nothing?
Nothing wrong with it.
Exactly. Are we going to... Yeah, go on.
Oh, no, go on. Sorry.
I was just going to say, we're going to wrap up in a minute. Are we, guys, or what? Because
There was only one. Yeah, there was only one more clip I had loaded. It was from the Nation of Sanctuary debate yesterday. I don't know whether you guys saw. Apparently, they're spaffing 50,000 of taxpayer money from Wales to Venezuela now. In addition to the millions and millions that they've spaffed on trees in Uganda, all the while you see more and more solar panels popping up in greenlands all over Wales, like there's no tomorrow. Just like literally up on the valley by me. Illegal immigrants, not illegal, says Plaid. Plaid's Elfed Williams has called for Dan Thomas, the Reform UK Wales leader, to be reprimanded for referring to immigrants as illegal. Just want to play this clip because this is, again, the kind of lunacy that we are doing.
Should we do the same thing where we mute the mics just so the audio actually...
Yeah, just so you don't hear yourselves speaking through like your feedback and stuff like that. It's loaded up and ready to go. I'll mute mine as well when I play it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Dan Thomas referred to immigrants as illegal in his opening statement. This is inaccurate. Under UK law and the 1951 UN Convention, an asylum seeker is not illegal. Arriving by irregular route does not make a person illegal. Such a language misrepresents the law and risks lowering the dignity of the Senate.
It is illegal to enter this country without a passport, on a boat, having paid a people smuggler thousands of pounds, Lord knows where from. That is an illegal act to break into this country. You cannot go abroad. You cannot go to France without a passport. So I will stand by my words, Slawith. Thank you.
So there we are. Did you notice the slip in of the word irregular in there?
Yeah, but the thing is,
that's the euphemism illegal. They're trying to use.
Everyone that comes here is illegal because we've never voted for this. No one ever asked us about it. So it doesn't, the people coming on the boats is only the tip of the iceberg, right? Because during the lockdown, my mate was monitoring all the flights and that, and there was flights after flight coming into this country from all over the world, right? They've been flying them in, for sure, right? So legal, they're supposedly legal, right? They're not legal because we've never voted for it. So they're all illegal as far as I'm concerned.
It's an entire illegal system, isn't it? The system has never been voted for. Again, people, as you mentioned, people never asked. Yeah. Even using legal to refer to this kind of system is a euphemism because it's frankly, I call it an illegal system.
But I love how they have to change the words, like irregular, just to try and divert it a little bit, dilute it a little bit more.
It's like
Cooper doing that as well.
The airport hotel at Cardiff, right, was full of Afghans, and John Healey, the Defence Secretary, I put a video on my YouTube. He said they were not people who helped our soldiers, right? They were just people who put their names down, chances, hoping to come here for a better life. Yet the Senedd is still arguing that they were people who helped our soldiers. The Senedd is full of liars and communists, right? And all of them are illegal. We don't want any of them here. It's as simple as that.
I honestly don't care if they helped our soldiers, right? Like Gurkhas, for example, they were paid mercenaries. Why are they here? I don't care that they helped our soldiers once upon a time.
It got me as well. One thing, did you hear about that he made the comment about lowering the dignity of the Senedd? I mean, could it get any lower?
Oh, it's a house.
Could the entire political establishment get any lower? Not just the Senedd, the British establishment as a whole. Scots with their parliament as well. The Irish with theirs and the Sinn Féin traitors. Could it get any lower?
No.
250,000 white British victims of Pakistani rape gangs. Could it get any lower?
Yeah,
it's completely compromised.
Yeah, it's just a den of thieves. That's all it is. Right, so
I suppose that's what you get though when you just stand around in a chamber sniffing each other's farts all day. I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. So we're gonna wrap it up then, guys. You got anything that you want to end on? Like, I got a little song to put on, like but want to say anything to the audience?
A little sing song away.
shill your channels or anything like, you know?
Right. Well, people might be able to find me. You can follow me on X at VOTV Official, YouTube Voice of the Valleys, as interview coming up this weekend, Saturday, with patriotic alternative leader Mark Collette. I've also got an interview coming up very, very soon as well, with the leader of the National Distributors Party. So if you want to get any viewer questions in, there's a post up in all of my membership areas for the Mark Collette interview at the moment in Locals, YouTube, and on Patreon. You'll be able to find the links somewhere on my X profile or on my YouTube or whatever. If you want to get your questions submitted, you can go on over to those, because that will be taking place on Saturday. Otherwise, yeah, just follow me on the socials. Thank you all so much. Hope you enjoyed the reporting and the subsequent interviews and podcasts that will come from it. Thank you.
What about
If you want to follow me, it's at Stormcelt WV on X. I haven't got YouTube or anything.
Yeah, I'm Welsh Joe Marsh on Twitter. Whether if you're watching this, you're on there now, like, you know. But like, cheers for coming on, guys. We're gonna do a regular one, but we'll have to work out when we're gonna do it. And Dalton couldn't come tonight, so next time hopefully he'll be here, like, you know.
Hopefully.
Yeah, he should be.
Just give me a second. I'll just what the hell is
Just to point out one comment from Dan highlighting, you know, the constant boomer line that we often hear spouted time and time and time again. At least we're not speaking German, eh, lads?
No, we're speaking Urdu.
So much better. So much better, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Right, guys.
Apparently, according to